What is good, Josh? On this Pool Game Man, back with yet another reaction video, baby. And today we are back with some more NFL power rankings, man. We're coming down to the gritty week 16, man. We only have 3 weeks left in the season, 3 games left in the season at least. So people are clinching, people are getting eliminated. The AFC is looking a lot tighter than the NFC. Teams are surprisingly getting knocked off, like Detroit losing. Where is that going to place some of these rankings? We're here to find out today. Now, if it's me personally, I'm probably going Eagles, Bills, Lions, Chiefs, and I'm putting them in that order because that's also the order I feel like they would win the Super Bowl in too. So let me know down below how you guys have your top 4 ranked. We'll see how the rest of the top 8 and then the full 32 kind of branches out here. But leave a like, comment, and subscribe when you guys are way into the video if you guys are enjoying the content and the new forms style to the channel, man. I hope you guys are really enjoying the videos and the content. Might be fun bringing it to you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And yeah, let me know down below who's your Super Bowl favorites.
Here we go. We got some movement at the top. And by the way, 2 teams not in the top 10 that you think should scare the league's elite.
Okay. The Commanders.
Yeah, I think in a season, Mike, where there isn't a whole lot of mystery about who is going to get in the playoffs, not that many teams sort of vying for those spots like we normally have. We do have 2 teams in the playoff picture, the Bucs and Rams, just outside my top 10. I think could make a move or be a very scary opponent in the playoffs.
Yeah, look at the Atlanta Falcons. We'll touch on them because
you go to the list already. I would say I do kind of agree with the Rams. I do think the Rams can at least win one game and make it scary. I don't know about the Bucs. But we have Eagles, Bills. He has Chiefs, Lions. Fair enough. I would also say Detroit's better in my eyes over Kansas City, or have a better chance to win and they get a Super Bowl ring. My Super Bowl favorites are in the order I set them in, so I would still put the Lions above the Chiefs. Vikings, Packers, Ravens, Steelers. I agree with that next 4 there. Yeah, I agree with that next 4. I keep wanting to put Green Bay over Minnesota. I just feel like they would win in the head-to-head, but I'll let it slide for now.
the weekend is presented by Truist.
Okay.
All right, so let's start with this
The
number
Eagles,
1
probably?
team here.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles, Eric, and this is a squad that had a little bit of, I don't want to say dysfunction, maybe that's overstating things, but a little bit of controversy, right? A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. Look, they were winning, and there was still potentially at least an issue. They get another impressive win, and those guys seem to be simpatico on the same page.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way to answer a question, right? It leads up to the game. It's been the discussion point all week long. And then what do? They pass their way to victory. Antonio Brown using that very specific word after the win over Carolina, suggesting things aren't going well. Well, they did Sunday. And it's nice to know, Mike, that you can have Saquon Barkley kind of have an off day, certainly by his standards anyway, but not be the focal part of the offense. Jalen Hurts was dialed in. He was effective as a scrambler and as a thrower. A.J. Brown, the leading receiver. Devontae Smith, very active. Having both those guys go off in the same game makes them that much more dangerous. Love the way the defense played. And frankly, I didn't think it was that close a game. I thought they outplayed them pretty thoroughly, maybe more so than the score indicated.
Yeah, I'm with you there, at least on the MVP watch with Saquon Barkley. A dominant.
Because that is one thing, like watching the games, as opposed to just like looking at the stats and highlights afterwards, you could really see, like, was it actually a 1-score game? Or was it more so like, oh, no, they took their foot off the gas for real?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, obviously, he kind of helped his stock with the loss over the Rams, sort of as a one-man show, bringing his team back to the cusp of victory. Bills had to hold on in this one, but they needed every single one of the points that Allen generated, and he was spectacular. You know, some of the ball placements, Mike, on those long throws were terrific. And to me, the biggest thing for the difference between what we've seen from Allen in the past is he's had those Heisman moments or those MVP moments before, but the down-to-down consistency and the accuracy, the lack of turnovers this year has been a huge reason why his game is elevated, I think. And yeah, Buffalo has some defensive issues they've got to work out, certainly. Last 2 games have kind of exposed them, but when you have a nuclear-grade weapon at quarterback, sometimes that isn't even all that important. So I think the Bills are in great shape. Just behind the Eagles, could make a case for either one of them at number 1. This is a really potent team right now.
All right, I will ask if you like them.
I just realized I turned my mic off by accident. What I was saying, y'all probably think I'm so stupid. I'll stop being a Buffalo Bills hater, and Allen might be able to get that MVP for real. The way he's been playing this last couple of weeks, yeah, the defense ain't been helping at all.
Yeah, go figure. It's their first early win in months, or easy win, I should say, in months, where they get ahead, they put it out of arm's reach, and cruise to victory. And what do? We have something else to talk about, and that's Mahomes' injury. And look, he's played through pain before, played almost an entire season through an injury, and still won a Super Bowl.
But it looked like death. It looked like his whole spine, back, tailbone, neck bones, no greens is like just snapped in half.
Super Bowl. So, we have to kind
That
of
ain't
grade
even
it on a
ankle.
scale,
That's
just like
fine.
we graded all the close victories on a scale because
That's
of all the
paralysis.
goodwill the Chiefs have built up the last several years. So, yeah, I'm concerned. I don't have enough information right now. We haven't seen Mahomes in action, obviously, to know what he's capable of. Will he even play this coming weekend against the Texans? So, a lot of questions.
Probably
It really does sort
get
of
back
put
to
the target
100%.
on this defense again. And maybe it's not quite as good a group as the one that had L'Jarius Sneed last year, but still, this is a defense that, at its best, can carry this team to a championship, especially, like you said, if they get home field advantage at Arrowhead.
Yeah. Just for context here, they get the win against Cleveland on a Sunday. They're playing Houston on Saturday. So the Texans, they could use a signature win to bolster their confidence. There's no question about that. And then they're playing on Christmas Day. So we're talking about a very short period of time with a Patrick Mahomes that's not at 100%. I just throw that out there. Are they better than the Bills? And I know we got the head-to-head, but just generally speaking, in a postseason, do you like the Bills better than the Chiefs?
I'm going to answer the question first. I don't. One of my main factors in saying is sweeping a team is already hard. So I already go into a mindset 9 times out of 10, unless it's a divisional game. If you're seeing an opponent for the second time, whoever didn't win the first time is most likely winning the second one. I feel confident about that 87%. I do still feel like the Chiefs are better, especially if they get home field advantage. And just for the fact that we haven't seen the Bills not choke in the postseason here recently with being good, and we won some teams in the AFC, so I will still take the Chiefs in the head-to-head. Let me know down below who y'all rocking with.
Yeah, I do right now, but obviously once we turn the page to the postseason, we know how that history has gone, right? The Bills have sort of had a little bit of an edge in the regular season matchups. The Chiefs, obviously, in the postseason. So, it might come down to what kind of shape both these teams are in a month from now if they do end up meeting. But, yeah, I would say I like the Bills by a sliver, especially with the Mahomes injury kind of tipping in that direction.
Carson, what is still about taking
where
down?
teams are currently at is a different conversation than where they are going to be. Here's what I can tell you about the Detroit Lions, who sit at number 4.
We're gonna talk about all 8
This
of these
story
teams,
doesn't
right?
feel great, and I love what they've
David
been able to
Montgomery
accomplish. But
injuries hurts.
Eric, I look all over the football field, especially on the defensive side. All I see are hurt dudes.
It's
Fourth and
adding
ones.
up at an alarming rate, and now we also get the news, not just the defense affected, but David Montgomery with the MCL injury. He's done for the year. We know how important he is to that sort of thunder and lightning backfield they have, but, Aleem McNeil, a big piece up front, he's now out. Carlton Davis possibly could return in about 6 weeks, but that's putting him on, they've got to get to the NFC Championship game if they want to have him back. News may be getting worse, too, on Aiden Hutchinson if they were to make a Super Bowl run. So, yeah, everything seems to be trending in the wrong direction. You and I both know this has been the best team in football more often than it hasn't this season. But this late season turn, it's like the Lions just can't have nice things or something. Now, maybe they'll pull through it. This is Dan Campbell and company, but right now they're really up against it.
Schedule somewhat favorable when you consider it's the Bears and the Niners.
Sure.
Both of those games are on the road, and then they close out Week 18 in a game that not only could decide the division, but who gets the 1 seed in Week 18 against the Minnesota Vikings. That is a home game in Detroit. Speaking of the Vikings, I loved what you said last week on the show. Not that Sam Darnold's the MVP this year, but he deserves to be in the conversation. Couldn't agree with you more. The Vikings.
We still not putting that man in the convo. He's had a good season, though. We'll give him good season. I'm not putting that man in the conversation, though.
Yeah, it feels different to me. 2 years ago when they were a 13-14 with the negative point differential, we had an easy sort of talking point. They didn't necessarily match the eye test. The 13 wins felt like an aberration. This year, however, with right now an even better record, at least win percentage wise, they look the part, right? They've got the number 1 receiver healthy in Justin Jefferson. They have the sidekick in Addison. Darnold has cut down on his turnovers and played great football. And that defense, I thought, really set the tone against Chicago. Those first 3 or 4 series of the game really kind of took over. Jonathan Grenard attacking Caleb Williams, forcing that fumble. And after all those early stops, they didn't convert a lot, but they built up enough of a big lead and then put it away in the second half. So a much cleaner outing than the game at Soldier Field, where they dominated and then gave up the big run at the end. We're kind of, frankly, lucky to win. So I think they're just sort of cleaning up some of their little messes that they made earlier in the season and turning out sort of crisper performances as we go along in the season. I agree. He absolutely is. You may have questions about whether the defense can stop a top unit. You may have concerns about little pieces on the offensive line or whether the special teams are going to crumble. But I really think that offense, especially with Love playing more turnover-free ball, as you said, has become one of the more dangerous quarterbacks in the league. You saw the Detroit Lions go for it late against the Green Bay Packers. I think it wasn't just the Lions being the Lions. It was them being scared of Jordan Love, because he's shown consistently that he's got a ton of weapons. Romeo Doubs comes out of witness protection to catch 2 touchdowns. After a quiet game, Jaden Reed heats up. Tucker Kraft can get going. Christian Watson. They have so many options in that passing game. I love the diversity. And, oh, by the way, Josh Jacobs can tenderize you for the first half of a game like he did on Sunday, too. So, it was a strong performance. They beat a good Seattle team in Seattle and really sent a message that even though they haven't beaten those top teams this year, they are absolutely capable of doing so if they convert 1 or 2 more possessions in those outings.
We got teams 9 through 10 here, or 9 through 10, 9 through 16. We have the Broncos, Commanders, Texans, and Bucks all up. Chargers down 4, Rams up 1, Seahawks down 2, and the Cardinals staying put at 16. Give me the Commanders still above the Broncos. Give me the Texans above the Broncos. Give me the Rams above the Chargers and Bucks. If Geno actually is hurt, then I'm fine with them staying there. If he's not hurt and he can come back, I'll put them right behind the Rams. So with Geno, it'd be Commanders, Texans, Broncos, Rams, Seahawks, Bucks, Chargers, Cardinals. Without him, it would just be Commanders, Texans, Broncos, Rams, Bucks, Chargers, Seahawks, Cardinals. So depending on if Geno's cool or not, depends on if they move up 2 spots or not. But that's how mine looks. Let me know what you guys got down below.
Knicks' play has concerned me a little bit, right? The turnovers have gone up and some of the sort of play that he's had lately, it's been a little loose and not the same kind of level that we saw earlier in the system when he was playing within the confines of the offense a lot more. But still, you have a defense that can create turnovers the way Denver can. That's going to help you a lot, too. They're still figuring out the run game. I don't know if there's another receiver they truly trust outside of Cortland Sutton, but we'll see. They're plucky. They're well coached, too. Sean Payton has done a good job in kind of managing Knicks' ups and downs a little bit. But, yeah, this was a desperate Colts team they faced on Sunday. It wasn't pretty early. The Colts had their opportunities to open up the game, but Denver hung in there and then had the big fourth quarter to kind of put it away. Still a little shaky for me, but
that's why
big matchup coming up with the Chargers in 2 weeks, and that'll obviously help decide positioning a lot in that AFC wildcard picture. Yeah, maybe. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is a dangerous guy. We saw that. Obviously, he's kind of rediscovered his scrambling a little bit, made some big throws, was accurate, but the sacks really kept adding up. And after they got up, 17-0 or whatever it was, they took their foot off the gas. The Saints crawled back in it, find a way, with a backup core. They're really their third-string quarterback in Spencer Rattler. And Washington was fortunate to get out of New Orleans with a win. Obviously, it came down to that 2-point conversion at the end. You like the fact that defense made a game-changing play there. I moved them up. We've got the game against the Eagles that'll tell us a lot about them. That's obviously sort of a telltale game for them. And, do they stack up? We were playing tough teams tough earlier in the season, but now as we get a little later, their shine has kind of rubbed off a little bit. We'd love to see a little stronger, cleaner performance against one of the best teams in football. They haven't been able to get Joe Mixon going lately. Obviously, Nico Collins and Stroud were great in the red zone, but just the drives were not there. They had to rely on each of those 4 turnovers, 3 picks, and 1 fumble. The big strip sack there that I think kind of changed momentum a little bit in that game. Those were crucial. I don't know if they win if they only get 2 or 3, let's say. And that fake punt too. Dario Gunbowale gets down there in the red zone, almost fumbles. They fall on it. There's a penalty. They keep the ball and score after that to go up 20-6. So, it really took a lot of good field position and stealing possessions for them to score points. So I am a little bit worried about that offense, but it's nice when you can be efficient when the defense does give you those opportunities. You convert them into touchdowns and put desperate teams like Miami away. Yeah, they can turn it on fast, right? And we've seen Baker Mayfield have some first halves where he gets in a little trouble or throws some interceptions and, things are a little chaotic, and then all of a sudden he dials in. He made that one post throw to Mike Evans, the ageless Mike Evans. Looks like he could get that 1,000-yard season, yet another one. Incredible consistency throughout his career. He's fully back from the injury, making a difference. Jalen McMillan has stepped up too. So those 3 were really big on Sunday. You're down 17-10. You turn the ball over midway through the second quarter at midfield. Things aren't looking great. but then you have the ability to rip off 30 straight points unanswered over the final 35 minutes or so in the game. That's dominant on the road against, like you said, a good quality opponent who's going to probably end up in the postseason in the Chargers, and they just ran through them like it was nothing. So that's why I put them in that dangerous team group. I think they really can make some noise in the postseason. Remember how tough they were against the Lions in the playoffs last year. I think we're seeing an almost better version, certainly offensively, than what we saw last year.
1-game lead in the standings, and they do not have, I should say, the head-to-heads against the Atlanta Falcons. So not done just yet in terms of that race. Time for Future Champions, presented by FanDuel. Taking a look at the odds here, the Rams, the favorite to go and win this division. The Seahawks right behind them. The Arizona Cardinals in that third position. And just in case you're wondering, FanDuel not giving the San Francisco 49ers a chance to go and win the NFC West. But let's focus in on the number 14 team. Look, you told me the Bucs were really dangerous. The Rams are also in that conversation as well. There was some concern that I was starting to have down the stretch here about the Rams. They've seemed to right the ship. I've been high on them all season long. I think they got snake bit earlier this season because of some of the injuries, especially on their offensive line. But when this offense is going, boy, oh boy, I think you can make an argument they're top 2 or 3 in the league.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're scary.
The season.
Oh, no.
Hasn't thrown.
I went backwards. I'm going to fast forward it back. But I know he did not just say that dumb statement. Top 2 or 3 in the league. Yeah, no. You might be tripping on that one. Don't double down on that. And do not, what's that word called? What's that called? I forgot what it's called when you hype somebody else's idea up. And, it's not validate, but I forgot what the word is. I'm not even gonna say what I'm thinking about here, but y'all know what kind of word. Do not feed into that, because no, they're not a top 2 or 3 team in the league in the NFC, because they can't beat Detroit or Philadelphia. That already puts them at 3. If we're just talking NFC, you mean to tell me they're better than the Vikings or Green Bay? And I don't even like Minnesota. But you mean to tell me that the Rams are better than those 2 teams? Come on now. And if we throw in the AFC, if you said league, because I can't remember if you said league or just NFC. Chiefs and Bills? Come on now. No, stop it. There's a reason they're back here at 14.
I think you can make an argument they're top 2 or 3 in the league.
In the league,
yeah, they're a scary team. And I love the fact, Mike, that in the span of 4 days, they won 2 games 2 close games, too, in completely different fashions. You have the shootout against the Bills, where they're all gas, no breaks, knowing they're going to have to outscore Josh Allen, one of the league's best players. You turn around, you go into a rain-soaked game up in San Francisco on a short week, and you win a field goal fest, a defensive battle. So that tells me the Rams can match up against a variety of different style of teams, and so that kind of helps them in their playoff quest. You know, obviously they could be hosting a game, but you never know who you're going to draw. You never know how it's going to lay out. And I love the fact they can win games 44-42, or they can win them 12-6. The defense has made strides, but you said it. I think the most dangerous aspect is Matthew Stafford in the playoffs with the ball in his hand and the game on the line, and then those 2 receivers, having Nakua and Cooper Kupp healthy, obviously makes a world of difference for their offense. We saw them without him. They couldn't move the ball. With them now, they're a very explosive team.
Yeah, and look, once again, I know they didn't have a touchdown on TNF, but the point is that was an ugly game in terms of the weather conditions on the road, short week against a divisional opponent. To me, I think you sit there and you say, hey, even with an inability because of the weather to really be effective in the air game, Nakua almost gets 100. Kyron Williams, one of the most underrated running backs that we have in the NFL, and they will go on the road again as they match.
And here we are at the bottom. I mean, only 3 minutes left, so we're probably going to get through these next, bottom half pretty quick. These are all the teams that basically ain't going to the postseason. So you got Atlanta at 17, up 3 spots. The 49ers down 1. Dolphins staying at 19. Bengals up 1. Cowboys up 1. Colts down 4 to 22. We stay at 23, and the Bears stay at 24. Put us above the Colts, the Cowboys. Yeah, I feel like we're better than both those teams. But nah, for real. Probably flip-flop the Dolphins and 49ers. Bengals, then Dolphins and 49ers. And we could probably let the rest of it slide. And by the way, too, I did hear confirmations that Atlanta Falcons are moving on. It's now going to be Michael Penix Jr.'s team for the last 3 games. We're going to see what they're able to do with this 7-7 record. Remember, they had 500 when he takes the keys.
Eric, I want to hit you up on Team 17. The Atlanta Falcons, once again, they got the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Only one game back right now. What do you do if you're Raheem Morris with Kirk Cousins?
Boy, yeah, they did move up 3. I am cautioning people, don't read too much into that because there is a Kirk Cousins problem right now. At least, the eye test certainly tells us. And also just the behavior of the Falcons, right? After he threw that third quarter interception on Monday night, they barely threw the ball after that, really lean on the run game. It was working for a while, but, you see the Raiders storm back, have an opportunity, multiple opportunities to try to go steal that game last night. And Cousins was a big reason why they were kind of held back. He did make the first touchdown throw in his 5 games. It's nice for him to get off that schneid, but another pick adding to his total this year. And yeah, I don't know what they do. They've got Michael Penix in the pen. I don't know if it's a respect thing, a veteran thing, or if they just don't feel like Penix is ready, but the playoffs are hanging in the balance, Mike, and they're sticking with him at least to this point. I don't know how much longer they can afford to do so.
Only 24 hours.
Not the easiest decision to make for Raheem Morris, although maybe fans in Atlanta are saying, actually, it is pretty easy considering what we've seen from Kirk Cousins. Yeah. Meanwhile, teams 25 through 32. Here we go. The Browns.
Okay. Straight to it. We're basically going to wrap it up, I think, after this. The Browns staying at 25. Jets up 1, Panthers down 1, Jags up 1, Patriots down 1, and then the Titans, Raiders, and Giants all stay put. So in this bottom half of the quadrant, where y'all think some of the top players are going? Put it down below. Where do you think Travis is going to end up? Where y'all think Cam Ward is going to end up? Where you guys think Shedeur Sanders is going to end up? Who do you think's not taking a big name? I mean, I think Shedeur already said he really doesn't want to go to the Giants or the Jags. He kind of wants to. I know it said the Raiders, but I think the other team was the Cowboys. One of the 2 teams. So if that's the case, and the Giants see that, they want to abide by that. The Giants could end up taking Cam Ward. Cam Ward said he would be fine with playing out there, so it could go Cam, Shedeur, and then is it the Titans or the Patriots that have pick number 3, and do one of them take Travis Hunter? Does Travis Hunter slide back a little bit? Does he even stay in the top 5? Does a receiver or cornerback, even if he plays both, does that really help Tennessee right now? Does that really help New England right now? A receiver probably would for New England. It probably would help Jacksonville too. So the other 2 teams, they probably would help, but Tennessee probably wouldn't need them. So I don't know. I think he slips past 3. If this is just the plain drafting order right here, I think he would slip past 3 to the Titans, and then Patriots or Jaguars, whoever has that next pick, would probably end up taking them. So draft time is going to be very interesting. I think we have pick number 10 right now sitting with New Orleans Saints. So it'll be interesting to see what we go with. I would love to say get another receiver. Obviously, we've seen that be downplayed, but I mean, if there's a chance to get a quarterback, do I really want Carson Beck though? Is there a way we can try to get Shedeur Sanders?
All right, at 26, because it's a win, all I'm going to say here, Eric, is I think Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers might be auditioning together as a package deal for their next team. Adams, 9 catches, 198 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. We can talk about them, but I'm calling it audible here. I'm going to say, no, we don't need to talk about the Jets. We're moving on from that season. Eric, you and I have been blessed this season. My first year on this show, working with Madison Sanders, who's been our producer, who is now moving on. Madison, we are going to miss you. I'm sorry for hijacking the end of the show. We only had like 30 seconds left. So, I mean, did you want us to really talk about the Jets? Eric, if you had something you wanted to say, I guess we could do it.
I love Madison Sanders much more than I do the Jets. So, yes, I'm very happy that we're talking. Good luck in your next endeavor.
Hey, look, shout out to the employment opportunity. Shout out to the promotion. But yeah, we love her more than the Jets. It's funny. But let me know down below, man, how do you guys' rankings shake out? What do you guys' playoff predictions are looking like? And how are you guys set up for draft season? Of course, all that is going to be run through over the next couple of weeks. We got hella eliminations, hella clinching scenarios going through week by week. Every week a new team is probably going to get eliminated, if not a handful, until we're down to our final 14, which I think as of right now we have in total 6 teams clinched out of the 14, so there's still 8 spots left on the hook. I mean, the South and the West and the NFC are probably going to come down to like the last week. Everything else, I'd imagine, will probably be decided before then. But it'll be great to see where everything falls out. Thankfully, because our division is so bad, we haven't been eliminated mathematically yet. But we lose the next game with Buccaneers win, we're done, I think. So we'll just look forward to the draft season at that point. Let me know where your team is and what you guys are looking forward to. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's me, your boy Sean Deuce Move, aka Black Okage, Black Avatar, King Leo. Catch you guys in the next video, man. I'm going for the day. Peace.